up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor, man.
Good old humor, man. It's a new week, it's a new day.
Monday.
We're recording on Monday morning. Anything happened over the weekend that was monumental, Terrence?
Not monumental, but I think it was the. I mean, we were commemorating the final weekend wearing masks in Singapore.
Oh yeah,
so
it
kind of like it dawned upon me as I was going out and about that. After this weekend, it's gonna be mask free already. Yeah.
Oh yeah, correct. Shit, I forgot. Today is 29th August, the day where people can wear masks everywhere. Only have to wear masks in public transport and health institutions.
Correct. Yeah. So it's I don't know. People maybe taking selfies with their masks on one last time. To commemorate it's a momentous occasion now that we are ditching masks and actively signaling to the world we're done with COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Oh shit. I mean, later when going to our studio, I'll be taking public transport. I won't. Also, when I enter the building, I don't need to wear the mask.
Yeah. So you still got to go out with a mask. So I think that won't change.
Just
you like going to restaurants, all that. You don't have to have a drink and then take off your mask and then
going to the mall. Going to the mall.
The mall, no issues also.
Going to any shops or anything, no mask. Wow, that's cool. Yep. That is monumental.
Right. It is. Feels weird. Yeah. They were doing
man.
But yeah, here we are.
After, and I mean, just the contrast. It was a monumental lifting of the mask mandate generally, but the news-wise, more like very high level news. High level news.
Yeah, I would say the world is still recovering from the big weekend, I guess,
The world is recovering from the big weekend.
As in everyone's it's been the weekend, so everyone's been chilling. I haven't heard that much big news going about recently.
But we do have a topic. We do have a topic to talk about.
And it is a big world. It concerns the world now, right?
Yeah, correct. But before we get into that, just wanted to do a little plug for something that is Yalabat related. Because we've been pushing out a lot more content on Yalabat's Instagram and TikTok, and we realized that our Ministry of Funny TikTok, for those of you who maybe have no idea, before Yalabat, we still are Ministry of Funny. We still do create content, but we used to live primarily on YouTube and make YouTube videos. So with the Ministry of Funny TikTok account just being dormant, we figured, sometimes there are things that come up that are related to videos we made in the past. So last Friday, we just uploaded one half of a video we made in 2017 that was titled Asking Straight People Questions That LGBT People Get. And it was me in front of the camera on the streets near Orchard, Dhoby Ghaut area, talking to Singaporeans. Terrence and the rest of our team were behind camera. And I think just with an account that started off with like 700 followers, is currently at 450,000 views. So it just shows you the magic of TikTok. And it does make me feel a little nostalgic about the kinds of videos we used to make. Because those kind of videos were fun, man. It was a lot of work, but they were fun, man.
And they were from the mask-free era, when you could just walk out to people on the streets and have a microphone in their face, and then no issues, don't need to worry about wearing masks and all that,
Yeah, and the reason we uploaded that video specifically was because last week there was a lot of talk about the planned repeal of 377A. So we figured, we made a video in that topic recently. So we are going to be uploading more stuff that we recorded, as long as it's tied to a certain current affair. So you want to check it out, see what we used to do like years ago. That would be wonderful.
It's a real throwback, I would say.
Yeah, it's a real throwback.
To our old content,
It's a real throwback. But that is for Ministry of Funny. Shall we jump into the first topic, man?
Yes, please. It's a big one, so let's go right into it.
Yeah, so this about a few days ago, the Vivian Balakrishnan, who is the Singapore's foreign minister of MFA, he did a sit-down interview with Lin Li Fu from Straits Times under their Big Story segment. And for 30 minutes, he talked about like the future of Singapore and the risks we face as a nation.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
But when you first watched the video, what were your thoughts, Terence? At a high level.
Wow, it's a very serious topic. And after listening to it, we are stepping out of a pandemic, but it feels like the whole world might be entering another hole before we know it, As in, it feels like there's a lot of negative. I wouldn't say negativity. There's a lot of uncertainty in the next few years or so, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those high level, very high level discussion topics about the future of Singapore. It was, I mean, essentially even the title of the video, it is called why? Whoa, wait, my YouTube tab is lagging. Come on, YouTube. So the title of the video is "Hostile Influence Ops Targeting Singapore: A Clear and Current Danger." So he just talked about a few things that we will kind of give you like a TLDR summary of what he talked about, because there's a lot to unpack and it's so high level, right? That it will just be our like just talking through what he said and certain things that I don't know, maybe we disagree with or agree lah.
Yeah, and it's it's 30 minutes. Obviously you can watch it on double speed on YouTube. But a lot of interesting observations as well that he makes about the world going forward.
Yeah. But I mean, even the backdrop of the studio, it was done in the studio. It's post NDR conversations, so it does feel like it was something that was very planned, as in the schedule ahead of time. It's almost like, okay, NDR PM Lee sets the tone, and then after that, the different ministers will dive deeper into the different topics and different themes lah.
Yeah, and it's all 4G ministers lah, right? So I mean, Vivian Balakrishnan is a 4G minister.
But when we talked about interviews by Straits Times last week, and we were quite critical. How was this? Because I know the last time that we talked about the one they interviewed Shanmugam, they were quite smiley. They were not really asking him hard questions. What about this one?
I thought this was much more professional, much better. I mean, obviously Vivian Balakrishnan, very good speaker. Well known last time as a great debater and everything. So I mean, he could hold his own as a just speaking nonstop like almost like monologues. But I think the questions were delivered quite professionally, and it fits the gravity of the issues that he's talking about, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we can start going into it, but so first of all, essentially he laid the groundwork for the situation that Singapore is in right now and what the near future will look like lah. So one of the things he did say that the past 6 decades for Singapore, with the growth, the relatively consistent inflation and all, is all a thing of the past, guys. It's all history. Going forward, there's a bunch of things to worry about, which is something that quite a few ministers, including Tharman, has said the perfect long storm. The perfect long storm. And essentially, he said there were 4 main things lah. So first of all, like with Ukraine and Russia, there's a hint of war escalating, potential war. Secondly, we've all heard about higher interest rates and higher inflation, and the disruption to the supply chains and all that. And third, of course, COVID. And fourth, the potential food, energy, and water crisis lah. And to sum it all up, to lay a nice blanket over all of that, is that generally you see people getting pissed off with their governments more.
Polarization, right?
Yeah. So when you see that, right, you're just hearing that, right? Well, what are you feeling, Terence?
I mean, I'm feeling like sian. I think the word is sian. Yeah, like we're literally just taking baby steps out of this COVID-19 pandemic now. And I mean, just looking at a micro scale, I still haven't been able to get my PS5, man. Like supply chain issues all the way. I know it's a first world problem. But I haven't even managed to buy my PS5 to tide me through COVID, to tide me through, the tough periods of rising inflation prices. And then last week, you know what happened?
What?
Last week, Sony announced that it's increasing the price of the PS5 already
Is
in like
it?
almost all the major markets except the US. So I'm like, wow. Before I haven't even been able to buy a PS5, and really I step out of this like supposedly global crisis, pandemic, and shortage of chips and everything, and now there's a price increase some more.
But
It's
how much did
crazy,
it
right?
increase? How much did it increase?
I think like $50 on average in like countries like Australia, even Japan faced the price increase. So
And,
it's not just limited to countries outside of Japan. Yeah.
and it's like $800, right? Per PS.
I think that brings it close to $800 really. So I mean that in a microcosm that is like, I know is in the larger scale of things it's kind of lame, but it tells you like that these problems are not even not going away. They're getting worse, lah.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
mean, you
hard
do
part.
sound
Yeah.
like a douche, but you bring up a fair point, lah.
It
I,
is. It is.
I
Yeah.
mean, aside from you seeing it all around you. Yesterday, when I went to a local grocer where you can get the roast chicken, lah, the roast chicken, right?
Yeah.
And like what me and my fiance we love to do is buy the roast chicken, shred it, make some chicken salad and shit like that.
Sure.
So normally the roast chicken is like $5.90 or something. Yesterday was
Yeah.
$9.90, Then I was like,
990.
what
Holy
the
crap.
fuck is going on with chicken? Then we realized, the repercussions of the chicken shortage, lah.
Yeah.
The chicken
So
shortage. Yeah.
it affects everyone, regardless of how high level, whatever Vivian B was saying. Like, everyone on the ground, we feel it, lah. We feel the effects, lah. Right?
Yeah. And that's why, like, after watching the interview, I mean, first of all, there's so many things that are kind of like hard to rebut as well, because when he talks about tensions between US and China increasing, at some point it could some shit could happen. Like the one example he gave was that even if you look the period before World War One, right? Generally, there was growth, there was prosperity after the Great Depression in 1929. The countries were emerging and working together. But he said what they entered, which is what we could enter right now, is like some sort of a death spiral, where countries are okay with each other, but then they kind of form their policies based on how they think other countries would react, and then they start going towards that. And if every country does that, right, they'll shit could go down, lah. And then when you hear that, you're like, oh my god. First of all, how are you gonna rebut that? Right? It's not like something you can't pofma that. That's a statement, that's a hypothesis. But listening to it, I honestly felt after watching it, I felt sad, man.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's not wrong. I mean, you look at like even recently when Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the Senate, is it in the US?
Yeah.
Speaker of the House, I think, when she went to Taiwan, right? It was such a controversial issue because it was the first visit by a big American official in Taiwan, right? And about recognizing Taiwan's sovereignty and blah blah blah. All that is a very touchy issue in China and has the potential to trigger a war, lah. And then you ask yourself, how is it that that such a big move by the US wasn't maybe not say that they should have done it, but how come it seemed like Biden didn't have a very strong stand on it and all, lah. And I think when Biden received a call from Xi Jinping, he said that that's a different branch of government, is out of his hands, which is technically true. It's technically true, but you think about it, like the messaging within the country, the US and all, it sounds like there are a lot of different people with different agendas doing different things, and they're not all doing it all united as one country, lah.
Yeah.
And that's where the local political interest, the political drama can bleed onto the world stage and cause things to happen that affect everyone around the world, right?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing he said that was kind of like, it felt like, okay, it added purpose was like, he said, Singaporeans, there's so much fake shit that's going on around the world. You need to stay informed. You need to stay informed. And then I was like, yes, and Yalabat, it is our quest to keep people informed. Of course, right after that, he said something which I think was the only thing I would like to rebut in what he said, is that, as Singaporeans, you can check with credible news sources like mainstream media. And he said that, like, yo, man, I know you can't say anything else, But if you're encouraging people to, consume content or like that's diverse, be skeptical, question everything. Yeah, that statement just feels a little like, okay lah. You can't say what you can't say. But
Mm.
that made me smirk a little bit lah.
You're saying that because he said that mainstream media is the credible source
Yeah, I mean,
for
it
news.
can be a credible source, but if you really want to protect against, like, because one of the things he said, the risk of any country at this point, especially Singapore, where we're so small, if we are not united, shit could
Mm,
go down, lah. And
mm,
if you see examples abroad, and I think even in Singapore of foreign entities or foreign players, I don't want to say players because foreign players sounds like a very government kind of thing. Just
mm,
people from outside Singapore trying to sow discord in the world of social media. Um,
yeah.
and how Singaporeans need to be a little more, how you say, questioning of stuff they see. Yeah, like
Mm,
he said, you can check with mainstream media, lah. But the point
yeah.
is, mainstream media should be a source, but should be just one of a few sources that hopefully you can curate over time, lah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I was also quite surprised that he was very, very bullish that Singaporeans are very, know of all the problems around the world and everything, like, right?
Mm, you-
I thought I thought okay, I mean Singaporeans do read. We are exposed to a lot of different sources, but generally, does everyone really question the sources, or think about where the news is coming from? I
mm.
don't know, man. I still see a lot of people reading from like very dubious news sources. I'm still getting a lot of random WhatsApp messages about whether it was about COVID or whether it was about like the Russia Ukraine war and things like that. I still see a lot of like forwarding of strange messages like this lah.
What kind of
Yeah.
messages you get?
No, I mean even just about Russia and who really instigated
You
the
get messages
war.
about Russia.
Yeah, I get forwarded stuff like that lah.
Oh, you
In
get
chat groups and
forwarded, lah.
stuff
You
like
get
that. Yeah,
forwarded.
yeah, forwarded. No,
Oh,
not
I thought
direct
one of those scam
propaganda.
callers, they call you, they're like, oh, instead of not MOH, not MOF or something,
No.
they tell you about
Yeah.
Russia.
Plus the fact they're talking about scam callers, plus the fact that the scam callers keep calling, plus they keep coming up with new and varied ways to keep scamming us. It must tell you that they really find Singaporeans very gullible in some way, lah, right? There's no
Mm,
there's no there's no smoke without fire also, lah, right?
mm.
So I would say maybe there needs to be more effort to really get Singaporeans to be more media literate, lah, as they say.
No, and I think maybe like there needs to be, so just the nature of these sort of interviews. I mean, you can argue like, oh, you
Mm,
disagree with Vivian Balakrishnan as a politician, you disagree with his views, but I don't know. Hearing this, maybe there just needs to be more shit like this because I think Singapore, like I take a lot of things for granted. It's so easy to look at
mm,
wars abroad and you think, but in Singapore, if shit goes down, right, like
mm,
what the hell is going to happen? So
mm,
also, like, I mean, we are running our own business with the economy and the recession and all this talk of the world changing and all. Then it also
mm,
makes you think, oh crap, and you are bringing your second kid into this world. I'm
mm,
settling down this December. It just makes you
mm,
think like, oh shit. Especially when he said the past 60 years, we're done with that. The new
mm,
world is going to be a lot different lah. He did end
mm,
off with some optimism lah. He did say that,
mm,
yeah, like what you said, Singaporeans, they are aware of global issues. Singaporeans, we need to be united. We need to never take any sides between like the US and China or anyone else
mm, mm.
and stand up for principles. But that's almost like, you see those self-help gurus on Instagram, they say all the stuff that you should do, but do you actually do it lah?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, lah, I think it's one thing for a government official to be very positive about it, but on the ground, I think like there's a lot of work to be done. Like for like what you said, like like Singaporeans, really reading from more sources and also understanding what each of these sources, like what kind of agenda they might have as well, lah, right?
Yeah. Um,
Mm,
but so I mean, the reality also is that when you hear these kind of things, and maybe even the reality of the world these days, then you think about, oh, if people are going to be, screwing up our civil harmony from overseas and
mm,
all, yeah, maybe that Foreign Interference Act is a good thing. Maybe if
mm,
there's fake rumors and all, then maybe POFMA is a good thing. And that's when it's like, oh shit. If you set the stage as the world is gonna be potentially shit, we need to protect ourselves. I
Yeah.
don't know. It just makes everything else feel like, yeah, I don't like it, but I think we need that. Do you feel that?
Yeah. I think just over the last few days, one shock things was that graphic novel about the Holocaust, right? That I've been reading,
Mm,
and it was a very riveting read, lah. And I've always read a lot of books about the World War II and the experience of Holocaust survivors, but I think that book really resonated with me because it covers also not even just how his dad survived the Holocaust, but you kind of he walks you through what his dad's day is like, what his dad's life was like after the war as well,
mm,
and how you see a lot of effects, that long term effects that the Holocaust had on his family and everything, lah. So it was just very very compelling to read, but at the same time, yeah, I felt quite like, oh my god, like the world at this point, at that point of time, like it got to such a stage that things were so crazy, like like genocide and everything. And I was just trying to think for myself, like what if the world, is there a possibility of the world getting to that stage again,
mm,
where big superpowers are at war, and populations of people being displaced, and really great suffering for the men on the street, while nations were fighting it out,
mm. But
So then when I listen to something like from this speech from Vivian Balakrishnan, I'm like, oh shit, man. Yeah, actually, yeah, there is a real danger of things spiraling out of control, local politics bleeding onto the international scene, and conquering the pandemic is just maybe step one of, like, the shit that we're about to go through, lah.
yeah, and I think because you think about it, both of us we were born in the early 80s, lah, first half of the 80s, right?
Yeah.
I think our listeners are across all ages and demographics. But if
Mm,
you think about our childhood and all, I mean, generally it felt like, okay, there'll be some scandal here, scandal there. And I mean, there were times like the Cold War and what was happening in the Middle East with Kuwait. But I don't know, there was lack of info. The info
mm,
wasn't that
mm,
accessible, but it felt generally happy, lah. You know, um,
mm,
but
mm,
then these days, you have all this kind of stuff with the world happening around, and I think that almost happiness kind of take things for granted. Everything will be okay. Uh,
mm,
Maybe that really needs to change, lah. I think COVID was a wake up call, but then now you look,
mm,
we came out of COVID. Thankfully, not as bad as a lot of countries.
mm.
So then
Yeah.
we can't get complacent because what you were saying about, can you imagine a time when, like, if Singapore or like the world goes to shit, you imagine the people in Ukraine, right? Kiev,
Mm.
up till early this year they were living like a first world. No, Ukraine is not considered, I think, first
Developing,
world,
lah,
I think.
developing.
But
But they had a
Kiev,
lot of, yeah, they've got engineers, they had technology
yeah.
companies, and they were doing a lot of interesting things, lah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but Kiev, it is a metropolitan city, and to have their life upended like that, it could happen to Singapore, man.
Mm.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like walao eh. And um, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe like last time when we in some of the work we did around counterterrorism and all for like
Yeah.
content,
Yeah.
we also met some individuals who led some crazy lives, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should
Yeah.
try and get those people like as guests also.
I think so. I think so. And just to get perspective about how we have it in Singapore. So yeah, that's one of the things, like I now coming out of the pandemic, you meet up with a lot more people and all that, right? Like,
Yeah.
one of the things, if I do meet foreigners and foreigner friends and all that who are still in Singapore after the pandemic, one of the things I love to ask them is like, what do you think of Singapore now?
Mm.
After living through the pandemic here, or having gone home during the pandemic and then now you're back here again and everything. And yeah, like, how do you feel about life? Like, because at one point everyone was just really upset about how Singapore was taking on these draconian measures with
Mm.
regards to the pandemic,
Yeah.
But yeah, now that the dust has settled a little bit, what do you think about life here, lah? There's one of the interesting questions I would like to ask, and the answers have been quite illuminating, lah. The things that they have, that these foreigners who, expats who live in Singapore and all, have come to appreciate about Singapore that we take for granted and all, like you say.
Yeah. And I mean, even to anchor it in something that is more, more 2022. Like, I remember you and I were both with a bunch of people a few weeks ago who, yeah, there were expats in that group. And we were talking about Web3 and crypto, right? It was, in Singapore, there's a general, like, okay, yeah, Web3, crypto, the enthusiasts are fucking excited about it. But there's a lot of people who are skeptical and on the fence. But there were two
Yeah.
people in that crowd. One was from Argentina, one was from Venezuela, and they said, "You guys, your banking system works in their countries, right? Web3 is almost like it's a savior of some sort, or the potential of blockchain and crypto, because there the banking situation is fucked up. Inflation is insane. Then you listen to it, you're like, that kind of makes sense."
Yeah.
Right? In Singapore, the fucking POSB app, when it can't log in 5 seconds, I'm like, hey, fuck this, what the hell? Come on, POSB. Well, why I
Yeah.
cannot do my
Yeah.
two-factor authentication so seamlessly?
Yeah.
But yeah, then it just makes you think, oh crap. And because we also haven't been traveling maybe the past few years, traveling, you just get exposed to other countries. And not to say you go there, you're like, oh fuck, everything sucks
Yeah.
except Singapore. It just opens your
Yeah.
mind, lah. It just opens your mind.
Opens your mind and makes you think about what you I mean, I don't want to make it sound like NDR lah, but like what you value and then what's important for you also lah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a way to start a Monday, man.
It is, yeah, heavy topic. But
Yeah.
I mean, like last week, like when we were talking about 377A and everything, a lot of these existential questions about what it means to be Singaporean and what it means to live in Singapore harmoniously and all that, those came up as well, right? In very contentious ways. So this one is a bit more of a bit of a reality check that it's like, even if you think that things aren't perfect in Singapore, you look outside and you think about how bad is it, how good or how bad is it elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And the whole world is kind of like experiencing this problem right now, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that, you kowtow to the government, you listen to everything, but if you just look at it from a personal level or society level, right? What we have, it is very fragile, and it's something that you can have all your political issues and all, but guys, we are one. We are Singapore. Okay, I don't mean to
Wow.
sound that preachy, but it's just something like just spend some time to think, man. After hearing this, hopefully, check out the interview Vivian B did. You can disagree with him, but if you go to the core, right? Yeah, man. Whew.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Exactly.
generally, there's still a lot of things to be excited about.
Yes,
technological innovation is faster than ever before. Probably healthcare innovation and all that. But sometimes, if you get caught up with all that, I think you forget some of the reality checks, man.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, tough one. But yeah. So but that I mean, speaking of traveling and then also getting a little bit of perspective as well some things never change right. Some old habits die hard and you can see this again in the form when Singaporeans or people from Singapore travel overseas and come back right. You see some of the behaviors come up and it's a form of it becomes something to discuss And what is this bad behavior?
Recently on a Singapore Airlines flight, someone from the tiny little website you may never have heard of, Stomp, like a user uploaded a video taken in the premium economy class of the SIA flight from Bangkok, where the plane was taxiing, and I think the seatbelt, the sign or the notice to take off seatbelts was not announced yet. But because it was taxiing, because it was not in the air, the customers started getting up and getting their bags or grabbing their bags from the overhead compartments. So, according to this article, like falling dominoes, the passengers in the premium economy returned to their seats one by one, save for a man in blue cap and grey polo t-shirt with stripe. Oh, but that was because two stewardesses had to tell them to sit down, but they had to tell them many times.
Yeah.
So then someone else stood up, and the Storm video was just recorded the whole time. So it didn't go crazy viral, but it did appear in the news. But yeah, that's what happened. So Terrence,
Mm.
well, what do you think? I mean, given that just now you're bitching about not being able to get your PS5.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, we all have seen. I'm sure we all, when traveling, have seen this kind of behavior before, lah.
Mm,
I just want to point out, it's not exclusive to Singapore or Singaporeans at all, lah, right?
mm.
So I was kind of wondering also, like, why or how the person, whether the person recording video or someone near the person recording a video was saying that this is Singaporeans. I think like there was they basically calling out Singaporeans, right? And then I think the Stomper also himself posted that it was a group of Singaporeans started removing their baggage from overhead compartment. So how come they're so sure it's Singaporeans, right? Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be a xenophobe or anything. Like, I'm just saying that, it's also a very Singaporean behavior to just assume that everything's about Singapore. Don't be so egocentric about it also, right? There could be other foreigners as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think because people haven't been traveling as much the past 2 years, they maybe forgot certain things that were the norm. Because when I
Yes.
saw the video, I'm like, fuck, man, this happens on every flight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about business class and first class, but premium economy, budget, everywhere it happens. When I saw this, I was like, walao, you haven't uploaded to Storm for how long? How itchy is here?
Yeah, why do you have to whip out the phone and record it like that and then, label them for their behavior and all that? I also don't like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, label, and it just feels like and I mean we are also talking about it, but just feels like I'm not even going to say go watch the video, because don't click on the article link in the show notes. We will put it there for reference, but don't because if
because no, go ahead.
no,
Because of what?
because if articles and videos like this get more traction, it doesn't do a service to anyone.
Yeah, and I want to point out that at the end of the day, they stood up and they were not doing it right. But after the stewardess asked them to sit down, they actually sat down quite fast.
Yeah,
right?
that's why.
So
Maybe
it's
that's
not
why he
like
said
they
they're
stood up there.
Singaporeans. Maybe that's why he said they're
because they
Singaporeans.
comply. but so don't just label it as Singaporean behavior and all that also lah. I mean, at least they complied and then they didn't make a fuss about it that they had to be dragged out of the plane or anything like that lah, right? And I mean, maybe whatever reason lah, like maybe they all had they ate something wrong and they needed to go toilet or something. I don't know, but just don't be so quick to whip out your phone and judge them via your phone camera lah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always find it like funny when it's on Facebook, the video, and I look at it, what a fucking stupid video. Then I see some of my friends have liked it.
Oh really?
Yeah. The fuck?
So have you messaged these friends and asked them why the hell they like it?
I mean, I wouldn't say friends lah, acquaintances who I am Facebook friends with lah.
Okay, got it. Got it.
So then I see, I'm like, oh, really? Really?
Yeah. Don't know, man. It's just I guess people like to call out other people's behavior,
but
then not reflect on reflect a little bit on is the act of even calling it out necessary, right?
Yeah, maybe someone was taking a video of this guy with their own phone saying, hey, cannot use phone yet. This guy take out his phone to take video.
Exactly. No. Yeah. The phones also, I don't know whether you're supposed to be whipping out your phone while the plane's still taxiing also, right?
Yeah. I mean, on taxiing, I think forgivable. I don't know what the official stance is, even though I used to work in an airline. But on the flip side, do you think anything good can come out of videos like this being uploaded or
not? Really, no lah. I don't think so.
Really?
I think there's very little. Yeah. What do you get out of that?
I mean, just knowing that if you want to take your bag early in your future flight, someone will take a video.
Yeah.
But
is there
a
reminder lah?
Yeah, is there
a reminder lah?
So no, is there some benefit?
It's not.
Why is
barely
it not deterrent?
Very barely.
Because
I think you're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I know. I'm trying to put a positive spin on this episode because everything is like the world is going to end.
Depressing.
No, you think about it. Okay, after today, people are not going to have to wear masks on planes if the country they're flying to doesn't require it lah. So that means these sort of videos you might be able to be identified. So is it not a deterrent, Terrence? Is Storm not doing God's work?
No, it's not a deterrent. It's not a good deterrent. I still think that I would rather people not be taking videos like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because it's just like don't be so quick to judge with your phone. Yeah.
Don't be so quick to judge with your phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But cool.
And if people do
maybe
post
we can
videos,
find some
what?
positivity when we look at the one Shiok comments. Instead.
Yeah. No, but I wanted to echo something from our first topic. If you do see a video like this being posted on Stomp and Facebook, remember to question. Okay, just question because there are players out there trying to fuck Singapore up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask
Just
yourself.
question.
Yeah.
Question.
Is it necessary?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
You have one Shiok comment for the past few days.
Let me pull it up. Do you have anything yet?
I do. I mean, I think if anyone has been following us on social media and all that, they've probably noticed that we post a lot more. Sorry, that was my TikTok. We post a lot more on TikTok, Instagram, and all, right? And remember, I don't know if we go back many episodes ago when we spoke to Noah Yap. Remember good old Noah Yap, the Our Boys to Men actor and all. And our own, he acted in our shows as well, right? The Amazing Showman and all. I think he said something about TikTok. He said TikTok is the most toxic. Remember?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the episode when
I remember.
He said that TikTok users, TikTok users are the most toxic, and I think we were trying to discern why he said that, or even just dissect that a little bit and understand why he specifically is saying TikTok users are the most toxic. And I think over the weekend I've come to a realization why already. Yeah.
Why?
It's just the nature of the medium that because everything even the videos that we cut up for TikTok from a podcast, right? When taken out of context, without the full context of what we talk about or who we are as people and all, it's very easy to think that this person is like this because I watched a short video about them and they said this. So I think specifically for us when we spoke about the mask mandate, saying that no more masks going forward, and we're talking about why the mask mandate is happening now. I think we were sarcastically pointing out that the easing of the mask requirements was announced next to the repeal of 377A. And I think we just casually labeled in a sarcastic fashion that, one is bad news, one is good news, right? Bad news being the repeal of 377A and the good news being the removal of the mask. And that was completely a sarcastic comment, right? Because I think we made very clear before what our views about it are and all that, right? But immediately the comments started flying in. Started flying in about, hey, why is the repeal of 377A bad news? Was there misunderstanding about expectations? How is the repeal of 377A bad news? What's the bad news exactly? Typical boomer mentality. So, I just realized that everyone on TikTok just takes at face value whatever's on TikTok and not realizing that this is just a much smaller, shorter excerpt of a much longer conversation and dialogue that people have. And they just judge you on that. They just need to put the comment out there, need to get it out there and get likes and everything. And without even researching a little bit more into it. And TikTok probably, because of the nature of the medium, you watch one video, you comment, you move on. You watch one video, comment, you move on. They don't let you deep dive into a topic or deep dive into a creator's portfolio or anything like that. And then this is why TikTok is ruining a whole generation of people.
But the same can be said about Facebook and Instagram also, right?
Yes, but I would say it's accelerated on TikTok because of the way you are fed new content. You know what I mean? Like Facebook, you scroll, then you stop and you read, and you read within the browser everything. But you're still engaging with the content. It's text, it's video, it's images, right? Slower content. But because TikTok is just short video clips like that, right? And almost like you heard me switching on my phone and all, it just bombs you with content from the very moment you are in the app, right? That's what I think is the difference, is that it really just makes you want to get excited or get aroused just in a very quick moment, and then after that it shows you more and more and just keeps showing you new things to distract you. Doesn't allow you to stop and think and understand, try and click here, click there a little bit more about and do some research on what is the context of what people are doing or saying.
Yeah. But then
so that's why there's some one. I mean I know this is a one Shiok comments segment lah, but I'm just pointing out that these are the comments that we're getting on TikTok. They are very different from other mediums that we post on as well lah.
Terrence, you started the one Shiok comment thing saying you want to find some positivity, and look what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
You're just saying that TikTok is toxic. Right in the same 30 minutes after we were telling people, hey guys, go check out this video uploaded on TikTok. Terrence, you're a man of contradiction, no?
Social media is it's a very complicated.
No, but can I also say that those comments, you get it, but it's not all the comments are bad, lah, right?
I'm saying for this particular post that
for this kind of polarizing topic,
to get three almost similar comments in the same angle, it was quite like, whoa, to me it was like nobody. I replied them just hashtag sarcasm lah, hoping that kind of makes them understand a little bit lah.
See. But yes, please do still check out our TikTok and Instagram. So you can also see firsthand of the comments that we don't really like to receive, or we receive, but it's part and parcel of the game lah.
It's part and parcel of the game.
Part and parcel of the game.
And I mean, the onus is probably on us to make sure that we engage with it properly as well lah, right?
Yeah, correct.
Or even not engage if it's really toxic lah, like what Noah says.
Cool. All right.
But yes, please bring some positivity to the world, Mr. Tilani.
Okay,
yes,
so my one Shiok comment was a comment from I think last week, 5 days ago, from long-time Redditor But Then Ho. She just posted a meme when of a cartoon man just puking with the caption, when you hear your own voice in a recording, and her caption for the post was, I wonder if the guys feel relatable to this meme. Personally, I've grown fond of their voices. So thank you for growing fond of our voices. But I will also say that every time I hear my voice on a podcast now, or I see myself in a video or on a TV show or ad, I still cringe lah. Much less than I used to, but I still find it very unnerving to listen to myself or watch myself.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I kind of stopped caring already lah. Yeah,
I'm not saying.
I think
when
I've reached at a point
when you do hear yourself.
When I do hear it,
yeah,
I stopped caring about it too much already, because I know for a fact my voice is kind of weird. I know my voice breaks sometimes in the middle of nowhere. I know everyone has brought this up, very monotone, very, very blah, blah. So everyone has brought it up to me multiple times in my life. So I don't it's like at this point it's not even an issue to me already.
So you got walls, you got emotional walls to guard yourself.
Emotional calluses.
Callous.
But if you dig down, I'm crying and puking inside lah.
But I think it's normal lah. I think it's normal. It's normal, and it's just one of those things. If you have never really experienced it, even though I find that hard to believe, you just record yourself on your phone and you listen, and chances are you'll be I sound like that.
Yeah,
which is why I'm always what?
Sorry, what?
Which is
no, I was going to go on a tangent, but go ahead.
So which is why I'm always super impressed by people who can do great impressions. Like Jamie Foxx or some of the SNL cast, because what you hear in your head is very different from what other people hear. So how are they that good? Because then they're impersonating someone that they are hearing. It fucking blows my mind. It blows my mind. I'm pretty sure it involves them performing and then recording and then trying to tweak from there.
That's right.
But yeah.
So my point I was going to make was that I've been listening to that Joe Rogan Mark Zuckerberg interview. And it's probably the most human that you will hear Mark Zuckerberg being. And then I went back to go and listen to when Mark Zuckerberg, he was doing the metaverse announcement and all that kind of stuff. Then and how weird it sounded when he was trying to sound excited. When actually he's a very logical, monotone kind of explainer, And so actually if you try to sound like someone else, if you try to sound excited because you got a presentation coming up, it can actually really backfire. It can make it sound very inauthentic, right? So I would say learn to embrace what your voice is and learn its strengths and its weaknesses. But yeah, just you gotta just learn to not care about it after a while.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's right.
All right. And what
Cool.
about your one Shiok thing?
My one Shiok thing is a video that I think Rice Media's YouTube channel posted earlier this month. It's August 6th. It was called Are Gen Z's effing up the workplace? I mean, I say F up because they censored the vulgarity there. And it's basically like a ping pong match between two Gen Z employees and a boomer and a millennial employee.
Like a literal ping pong game.
Yeah, they are playing at a ping pong table and they are both answering questions that are brought up by a neutral person in the middle. So they ask about various things like, oh, is texting on weekends, texting about work on weekends acceptable? What if an employee needs to take MC? Is it the right thing for them to take MC for mental health issues and things like that? And it was quite. I would say it was quite interesting, that they got their own employees to answer these questions, and I think I'm guessing they managed to get a so-called boomer person to also agree to be in front of camera and sort of tell him what and really tell the Gen Zs what he thinks about their work ethic and things like that. So it was quite an interesting video, quite interesting watch to just hear the different views and then really brings you to understand how Gen Zs in the workplace are thinking about work versus the boomer or millennials. It's kind of crazy that millennials at this point are being put in the same bucket as boomers. Because like 5 years ago, everyone was like, oh, millennials in the workplace, how to handle. Now it's really just moved on. The millennials are seen as like boomers.
Yeah,
really,
that's right. Was it a long video?
Yeah. It's a 6-minute video.
Oh, 6-minute video.
But it's a short video, quite entertaining. Yeah, so I do check it out.
Cool. My one Shiok thing is a YouTube kind of series done by a YouTuber who went viral a few months ago. But it's Ryan Trahan. And
Ryan what?
Ryan
Sorry?
Trahan, Trahan. And I was just reading a case study of what he did recently, and that was to do a 30-day kind of vlog series where he set out to deliver a penny to Mr. Beast, who is one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. And he would go cross-country across the US and with nothing more than a penny, just go across. So he would, trade a penny for something, then trade and buy up and all. And it was done over 30 days. And like it fucking blew up the internet, man, because I think it got like, I don't know, 1 billion impressions. He skyrocketed. He got a few million new subscribers, and it was just like the case study I'm reading is something like talking about how, in the age where Mr. Beast has set the standard, where every video he spends like 100,000, like at least sometimes $1 million, and there's this push to make better and higher production value YouTube videos. This guy just had his editor with him, and a camera guy, and they would just churn out videos every day, lah. And it was like, you see on Twitter, people were saying that, oh, it was my daily schedule for the past month. What am I going to do? And it's just so cool because he kind of did something fresh in the YouTube space, lah. So basically, you follow his journey, lah. I remember when Casey Neistat started vlogging years ago, I was like, hey, shit, this is damn cool. You're literally following this guy's journey. But his was more general life, lah. But this one was just, he set up the quest, he set up the challenge, and yeah, I'm going to go back and check out his videos, lah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he combines quite a few interesting ideas, lah, right? Let's look at this. Like, I mean, he combines the idea of trading up from nothing, lah, right?
Yeah.
He combines the cross-country road trip. He combines the idea of like attempting to get the attention of a very big celebrity, to accept something from him. So yeah, I think this last sounds interesting.
Ah,
man.
cool, man. And I think he dropped off from school to pursue life as a creator.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Hardcore.
But yeah, can check out those videos. And I guess that's all for today, man.
So
you managed to get a podcast out.
This episode brought a smile to people's faces.
Or a reality check that makes you question your life and where we are as a nation.
Yeah. That's right.
Sweet, man. All right.
All right.
Talk to y'all
Cool.
soon.